wird gestartet. Dein Stream wird ab jetzt live übertragen. All right, good. It's internal. Problems you want to go over from this problem set. So have your books open to pages 237 and 238. That's problem set 58. I'm taking questions about those.
1 and 2, please.
1 and 2. All right, 1 and 2. So here, yes, both of these are based on this problem set, or on this lesson rather. Number 1. Someone please read that aloud for me.
When the votes were counted, it was 15% of the people in Brenham voted. If 2,100 had voted, how many people lived in Brenham?
Brenham.
Yeah.
Brenham, yeah.
Draw a diagram as an aid in solving the problem.
Yes, you don't have to draw a diagram, but you can. So, how are we going to set this up?
15 over 100 times 2,100 over 1 equals x.
No.
Uh-oh.
What you mean?
15 over 100 times x over 1 equals 2,100.
Right, because 15% of the people is what?
2,100.
Is 2,100. That's the information they told us. 15% of the total people is 2,100. So when we set this up as an equation, we translate 15%, we write as what? 15 over 100 of times the people.
X over 1.
That's the mystery number. Let's put it over 1 just to make things easier for ourselves. Is
2,100.
equals 2,100. You put that over 1 too. What do we do first here?
Put over 1.
Oh,
Okay, we can put this over 1. Before we do any multiplication,
Simple.
yeah, what can we simplify here?
Nothing.
What can we simplify?
Oh, yeah, no, 15 and 100.
Yeah, 15 over 100. What's an easier way to write that?
Hold up.
20 over.
Divided by 5. So, what's
20 over 3, 20 over 3.
What? No.
What's 100 divided by 5?
I mean, not, yeah, it's 20. Oh, no, it's not. Well, yes, it is. It is 20. 100 divided by 5 is 20.
Wait.
So what will this simplify to? 3 over 20, thank you. You said 20 over 3. You said 20 over 3, that's very different. Yes, 3 over 20. You should know 100 divided by 5 is 20. All right, now what do we do?
3x over 20.
3x over 20.
Times 20 over 3.
Yes, yeah, so 2,100, we multiply by 20 on both sides, and we get 3x equals 2,100 times 20, and then we divide by 3. So what are we going to get? Let's make our lives easier.
You can make that 700.
Yeah, we can, 2,100 divides by 3 easily to 700, because notice it's 21 with 2 zeros after it. So 21 divided by 3 is 7, so 2,100 divided by 3 is 700. So it was 700 times 20. Okay, that's easy because we just do, right, 7 times 2 is 14, and then we put 3 zeros after it. There's 14,000 people total. The trick here is setting it up correctly. You need to think of a sentence like this in your head. 15% of the people is 2,100. We know 2,100 people voted, and we know that that's 15% of the population. But what we're looking for is the population. Whatever they're looking for, your answer, that's your variable. That's your mystery number. Yes?
If you do keep paying flips, we'll still get 14,000.
Well, so we're not... yeah, so the way that you would do that is, what we really have here is 3 over 20 times x is 2,100 over 1. So we divide by 3 over 20 here. Divide by 3 over 20, and then we do the keep change flip to that. We get 2,100 over 1 times 20 over 3. And look, that's what we have here.
Oh.
It's going to be the same. Yeah, once you get to this point, there are a couple of different ways you could do it. You could do the cross multiplication where you get 2,100 times 20 equals 1 times 3x. You could do that. Whatever way you want to do it, once you get to that point, is fine, as long as you correctly get to that answer there. Yes? In 5 minutes, ask again. I'll let you go. Let's do number 2 also. Number 2, T. Willie. Look, I'm just reading what it says. T. Willie got 128 pounds of honey from his hive. If this was a 60% increase from last year, how much honey did he get last year? Okay, this one's a little trickier to set up.
128 over 1.
Okay, well let's try to phrase this as a sentence first.
Okay. See really well.
128 increase at plus 60.
No.
128 over 100.
No, so-
Stop setting up equations. Give me a sentence, please, to show that you understand the scenario here.
128%.
No, stop setting up an equation.
Let's go to
It's 128 pounds.
Minus 60.
Stop setting up an equation. Nobody has yet accurately described the real life scenario here.
Okay, you're right. Okay, so 100.
If you don't understand that correctly, you're not going to be able to set up a correct equation.
128 pounds.
Okay, what about 128 pounds?
What increase?
128.
Was increased.
No.
No.
Last year,
What about last year?
it was 60% higher.
What was 60% higher?
The pounds. No, the pounds of honey, and this year is 60% higher than last year.
Thank you. He got 128 pounds of honey from his hive. This is a 60% increase. What does it say? What's the next three words?
From last year.
From last year.
I mean,
So what got increased by 60%?
128 pounds.
Bro.
Or
what?
Okay, this year he got 128 pounds. What gets increased by 60% though? What?
The pounds this year.
So he got 128 pounds. That's this year.
okay.
Stop doing that and pay attention.
Stop thinking about that.
Yes.
Shut up.
So he got 128 pounds this year. How does that relate to last year's?
Because it increased by 60%.
What increased by 60%?
Pounds.
The amount of honey.
It increased from when to when?
Last year to this year.
Right, from last year to this year. Now, what are they looking for us to find?
How much money did he get last year?
Okay, so what's our mystery value here?
How much money he had last year?
Right, honey he got last year. So, last year's honey,
That's why your little brother's doing that now.
Bro.
Yeah, that's a good thing. He thought
increased by what?
60%.
What did that get us?
7.
128 pounds.
Thank you, is 128 pounds. You see how this sentence describes the scenario that happened? Last year's honey, from last year to this year, increased by 60% and then became 128 pounds.
So would that mean we would have to add?
Yes. So last year's honey, how are we going to represent that when we turn this into an equation? Oh, yeah, whatever variable we want. So fine, let's use L.
Over. Well, what?
Hold on. What happened to last year's honey?
It got increased.
Increased by how much?
60%.
So what percent of last year's honey did he get this year?
40.
No, it increased by 60%. What does that mean to increase something by 160%? Add what?
Over 100.
No, I've added like the percentage of it.
Add what percent?
The percentage of 128.
Sorry. Yeah, I meant to say what.
Okay. When we increase something by 60%, what percent do we then have?
What? 40.
I have no idea.
How can we increase it by 60% and end up with less than 60%?
No, if you
Doesn't make any
multiply-
sense.
If you get 60%.
Okay, stop. If you have $100 and then you increase the amount of money that you have by 60%, how many dollars do you have?
Oh no, 160.
Thank you, $160, because you still have the $100, and then you went up by 60% of that. 60% of 100 is 60. So when you add that to the 100 that you started with, you have how many dollars?
160.
Okay, so what percent of last year's number did he get this year? 160%.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Let me know. I have that.
Because he got more this year than last year. So it's a percent greater than 100 of last year's honey. He got as much as he got last year, and then he got 60% more. So not 100%, or 60%, but 160%.
Of course.
Yes?
Yes.
You need to understand this. Is
I
this
said I'll
clear?
write it down.
Is this clear why this is the way to set this up?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is last year's honey increased by 60%. What else do I need to do to finish setting up this equation? Equals is
128 over 1.
128 over 1. All right, so where do I go from here?
Alright, so what I'm gonna do
160
is
L. Oh, wait,
160 L.
No, before that
60
is 128. Now what do we do?
8 L over 5.
Even better than that. Let's just do it in one step.
I mean, multiply by 5.
What's L being multiplied by right now?
8 over
8 over
5.
So how can we get rid of that? How can we get L by itself?
Flip it.
Divide by 8 over 5.
Flip it.
125 times 5 over 8.
Right, is 128 times, keep change flip, times 5 over 8. Now what do we do?
Oh,
Simplify if you can.
Simplify if we can. Can we simplify here?
yes.
What can we simplify?
128 8.
128 and 8. How can we simplify those?
Well, I guess they both can divide by 4.
They can both divide by 4. What do we get if we divide them both by 4?
17?
No.
No, never mind.
I don't think so.
We divide 8 by 4, what do we get?
8
Two.
by
If we divide 128 by 4, what do we get?
Those.
Wait, so
Wait, 114.
what?
128 divided by 4.
Bro.
Oh, divided by 4. Oh,
Yes. Right, we divided by 4.
Use your head. Use your head.
Look at your head. I don't know.
32. Yes, because 4 goes into 12 3 times with none left over, and then goes into 8 2 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get 32 over 2 or 16 over 1. Ooh, that's even better. All right, so we can divide these down to 1 down here and 16 up here. And then, so we just get 16 times 5, which is what? 80. The easy way to do that, well, that one you can just do it in your head, because 5 times 6 is 30, 5 times 10 is 50, add them together, 80 pounds.
I did it.
With this one, 128 divided by 8, you definitely got to divide that down. Now, if you want to just start by dividing them each by 2, you can go from 128 divided by 8 is going to become 64 over 4. And then you see you can divide it by 2 again, 32 over 2, and then 16 over 1. You could do it step by step like that. You can also notice that 128 is divisible by 4. How can we tell that we can divide 128 divided by 4? What's the rule for telling whether something can be divided by 4?
Add them up.
No. The last 2 digits are divisible by 4. Is 28 divisible by 4?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then also, the rule for 8 is if the last 3 digits are divisible by 8. And 128 is divisible by 8, which, if you know that it's a power of 2, then you'll know. All right. Anyway, 80 pounds. With both of these, the trick is setting them up correctly. Make sure that you're first getting a sentence, or if you want to draw a diagram, that's fine. You could say, okay, here's last year's honey. And then 60% more, and that's this year.
Bro, speak up, bro.
If you want to draw a diagram, that's fine. I don't generally do that, but if you want to, that would be a way to do it. You got last year's honey, and then 60% more. So this year's honey is significantly more than last year's.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes, Ashton. Hurry up. All right, other problems you want to go over? We can do 1 or 2 more. Those took a long time, but that's okay.
Oh my god.
Bro.
1 or 2 more.
I'm so confused now.
About what?
About everything.
Life, you
Okay, why don't we start with one that go?
Actually,
Another
my
meaning of
head.
life, Mr. O.
42.
Actually, give me a second. I
Yeah.
can't think.
All right, but seriously, any other problems from the homework you want to go over?
Hold on.
You got a test on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes.
Tuesday.
The
What
first
the
day back.
Yes. I don't like doing that, but because Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, so I don't know what's happening with classes. And then Thursday we have an open house, so there'll be people visiting during this class. The test is going to be Tuesday.
I like my Tuesday.
All right, next,
British people?
number 9.
Number
Okay, number 9 is just a matter of order of operations correctly. So, walk me through this one at a time here. Please don't be annoying.
-2.
It's just like a good life rule.
Come on now, guys. You don't want to make Mr. Oriani mad.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
He's just trolling, you know?
Is that the glove you use for your molten?
Right, I wonder.
Okay. What do we do first? What do we do first?
Use
both-
distribute,
I mean,
distribute inside the parentheses.
Thank you. So what do we get here?
-5.
Right, we get -5 here.
Wait,
What?
what?
Order of operations, what comes first? Parentheses. So we do the thing inside the parentheses first. Okay. Is there anything we can do? Yeah, let's just stick with the left side for now.
Nah, it was useful.
I think you do,
What do we do next over here?
distribute negative.
Right now, to get rid of these parentheses, we're gonna have to distribute that
4.
-2. So we get -5 plus what?
Counterclockwise?
Positive 4 plus what?
Plus, plus,
Minus 2m.
Thank you, yeah, plus -2m.
Right. Counterclockwise.
So notice, we just distributed that -2. All right, so now what do we do on the left here?
Add like
Add like terms, what are we gonna get?
-1
-1
minus 2m.
minus 2m. Then what do we do?
You get 2 plus 4m
2 plus 4m, distribute that -2. 2 plus 4m is what we get on the left.
equals.
Equals, now let's go to the right. What do we do first on the right?
Bro, this
The
is so much
pipes.
exercise.
The pipes, because that counts as parentheses. So what happens with that?
They would go to, they turn to negative, because if you take them out the pipes, they change to positive and there's a negative.
Right, so this negative gets eliminated by the pipes, but that minus sign still stays there. All right, now what do we do?
The exponent,
Exponents comes after parentheses. So we have -3m
16,
minus 16 minus 2. Now what do we do?
3m minus 18.
We combine like terms. -3m minus 18. All right, now we've got something that's going to be pretty easy to deal with. 2 plus 4m.
I subtract 2 on both sides.
Here, but let me just rewrite this up. 2 plus 4m equals -3m minus 18. So you're going to subtract 2 from each side, all right?
And then add 3.
And add what?
3m.
Add 3m to each side. So we move our variables to the left and our constants to the right. What do we get?
7m equals -20.
7m equals -20.
Divide by 7.
Divide by 7.
And that's it.
We get -20 over 7.
That's what I got.
There you go.
okay.
Just take it one step at a time with each side. Listen, this type of problem where it's really long, there are a few things you have to keep in mind.
No, chill, bro. What? This is my. I don't understand. Yo, what are you doing?
There are a couple things you have to do correctly here. A couple things you have to do correctly here. The first one is just copying it down correctly. The second one,
because he's gonna type that.
the second one thing that you have to do is take it one step at a time. Make sure that you're not adding or subtracting where you should be multiplying or vice versa. And don't be afraid to rewrite it multiple times, just doing one little thing at a time. Yes, it takes up some more space, but that shouldn't be your major concern. If you need more space, use another box or use a piece of scrap paper.
Can I go to the bathroom, please, now?
Quickly.
Thank you.
I don't see why my rope is.
Oh,
What the
All right, we can talk about that later. Next up, one more from the homework. Last call.
Huh?
Last call for problems from the homework.
Yeah.
What? Study for the test.
Oh, good. That means no one.
Did he call her up? Oh.
I mean, I won't be doing Tuesday.
Jason John.
All right.
Can we do it?
Number 30, yes. Shh. Please stop talking. Please stop talking.
It's not okay.
You have a test on Tuesday.
I know, I heard you. That's not we did it. You did? It's 3 days.
There's a request to go over number 30. Number 30, what are they asking us for? Asking us to find the number 30.
The volume of the right prism.
The volume. What's our formula for volume of a right solid, prism or otherwise? Volume equals, everybody should know this. If you don't know this, you need to learn it yesterday.
Oh. Equals area of the base times the height.
Thank you. Area of the base times the height. Do we know either of these things already? Did they tell us any of this already?
16 meters high.
Right, the height is 16 meters.
Whoa.
What about the area of the base? What's that going to be?
It's gonna be
Bro.
470.
Hold on. Let's figure out how we're going to figure out the area of the base.
So you could do the triangle, then the rectangle.
Right, we've got a triangle. We've got two things to add together, a triangle and a rectangle. What's the area of the triangle? What's the formula?
Base times height divided by
Base times height over 2. What's the base of the triangle?
Or 20
You're a crap.
Yes, 20 is the base.
times 15,
Yes, divided by.
2.
And so what do we get?
Hold on, let's see. I think 150.
Yes, 150.
Yeah,
The easy way to do that is notice, we divide 20 by 2, we get 10. 15 times 10, 150. 150 what?
meters squared.
Square meters, yes. All right, what about the rectangle? What's the area of that?
There's
What's the formula?
length.
Length times width.
I thought you said we were not gonna do like how good.
What's the length and the width?
320.
Yeah, so we got 32 and 10, we get 320. 32 times 10 is 320 square meters. So what's the area of the whole base?
470
Is 470
square meters.
square meters. All right, now we can go back to this guy up here.
470 times 16 divided by. Wait. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it, yeah. All right, then what's 470 times 16?
280.
Yes, like this. Yes.
7.
7,520.
What's wrong with this?
This is how I recommend cubic meters. This is how I recommend setting up these kind of problems where you're finding a volume or a surface area. Is get all your formulas down and take it one step at a time. We know that we need to find the volume. The formula for that is area of the base and the height.
Bro,
They already found, I don't know. They already found, now they already gave us the height. So now we need to find the area of the base. How are we going to find the area of the base? There's no formula for that kind of weird thing. But we notice it's a triangle and a rectangle. So if we add up their areas, we'll get it. A triangle is based on... I'm going to ask you to leave. You just need to learn to control yourself.
Hey, what's that? Hey, I wasn't even looking at it.
Bro, I said,
Can y'all like leave Mr. Oriana?
I'm trying to teach you how to do these correctly, so we don't have mistakes on these.
I'm sorry.
bro. Real nice.
Each time we have to take another step back. Area of the base is a triangle and a rectangle. There's triangle. There's the formula. We plug in the numbers. We get that. Then we go to the rectangle. There's the formula. Plug in the number. Get that. Then we can add those together to get the area of the base. Once we have the area of the base, then we can plug it into our formula that will get us the answer. I recommend writing things out like that. Notice it doesn't actually even take up all that much space. The only thing I had to do outside of these 5 lines here was my calculation by hand, the multiplication of those multiple digit numbers.
Wow.
So basically, what we're gonna be doing is do the thing first.
Is what?
For each one, like find the area for the rectangle, find the area for the triangle, and add them up.
Yes. But notice that the key is figuring out what to do. You guys, for the most part, once you know what to do, you're pretty competent at that.
Isn't that
Wait.
how everything works?
Yes, but where more of the issues are is figuring out what to do. That's the key. So that's why I recommend writing out these formulas. And if you don't know the formulas, you're not to do. If you don't know that you need area of the base times the height, you're not going to know that you need to find the area of the base. You're not going to know that you need to add together the area of that triangle and the area of the rectangle. Yes.
What?
I'm sorry.
What?
Okay,
No,
please
no.
don't. Please just look up here. Any other questions? Last call. No. There's only about 12 minutes left.
Your point?
All right, page 239, lesson 59.
Oh.
Lesson 59, page 239.
Stop. Oh yeah, homework for a second.
We do have one.
No, you don't.
Okay, I'll assign the homework, but it'll be due Wednesday.
No, bro. Chill. Not fair.
Thank you, Mr. Oriani.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You're welcome.
Actually, I guess I just a lot of time to do it. No.
Yeah, and you don't have to start it before Tuesday.
That's true.
Like, you could wait until Tuesday to start it. All right, so lesson 59 here. So, we've talked before about these sorts of things. If you look at the top of the page there, if you look at A and B right there at the top of the page, what do we call these? Where we've got two equations with this curly bracket on the left.
A substitution.
A what?
Substitution.
A substitution, maybe. Do you remember the term for this where we have two equations?
Substitution.
Not necessarily. There are other things. There are other things we can do with. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down and calm down.
Elimination.
Wait, why do you?
Sometimes we use elimination. Please be quiet.
Dude, this is second.
Please be quiet.
Separate.
Tell me I can't use the bathroom. I'll go to the front of the book.
Well, first of all, what does this curly bracket on the left mean? What does that tell us about these two equations?
Now you have to solve for x and y.
Well, the directions tell us to solve for x and y. The bracket on the left tells us these equations happen in the same universe.
Who's giving that?
Maybe.
Thank you.
Sit down. Don't get up again.
What the hell?
Should I just assign the homework
No.
and not teach this? Because that's the sort of behavior that I'm getting right now. Look, I know it's a Friday half day, and we're all very excited and
I had
hyped.
like 3 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
You're on drugs, bro. Sorry.
Okay.
He's live.
The curly bracket on the left tells us that these two equations take place in the same universe. They occur on the same graph. This is called a system of equations. We could have more than two, but we only have two. Now, with a system of equations, we want to find values for x and y. Because normally when we have two variables, we can't find a single solution. We could graph a line, but we can't find a single solution. But if we have two of these equations, then we can find a solution because they're each a line and they're going to intersect at some point. That's what we're finding.
Okay, wait. Never mind.
Now, what was the method that we learned for solving a system of equations like this?
Well, you get
Somebody mentioned it before. Starts with an S.
Substitution.
substitution.
Substitution. Right, substitution. How does substitution work?
You basically just multiply what's on the outside of parentheses on the inside.
Wait, so you do x minus parentheses negative 3y.
Hold on. Let me just stop you because you're not going to know what to do with this system here.
Oh, wait,
Normally the way that it works is if you look at the examples there at the top of page 239. So what we would do is we would rewrite, if you look at A, see that top equation is 2x plus 3y equals 5?
Hold on. I probably
And then,
know how to do this.
and then the second equation is x equals 2y plus 3. How would we rewrite these? How would we substitute?
You
Oh,
take,
okay. So
you take negative
Wait.
y and put on the other side.
We're not talking about the same equation that I have. Because you're looking at the board, which is not where I'm looking.
Oh, no,
Negative
why'd you write on the
and then
board?
add it to the other side.
What?
You add y on both sides.
Okay, you're not looking at the same equation that I am.
Wait.
You're looking at the top equation, equation A. Please stop talking. My patience is wearing thin, and it's only 9:20.
Sorry.
We're looking at A at the top of page 239. How would we solve that system of equations? What would we do? How would we do substitution there? Yes.
Alright, so what you're gonna wanna do is, where it says 2x, you're gonna put 2, parentheses, 2y plus 3, and parentheses, plus 3y equals 5.
Right, we're going to rewrite the equation so it only has one variable in it. Notice that the second equation tells us x equals 2y plus 3. That means we can replace the x in the first equation with 2y plus 3. Then we'll be able to find y, then we can use that to find x. Now, with this one, however, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. We can't substitute right away because we don't have either of the variables by itself in one of these equations. So how can we do that?
You can put y.
Add y term.
Add 2y to both sides.
Of what?
Huh?
Of what?
On the top.
To both sides of the first equation. Right, so we're going to rewrite the first equation by adding 2y to each side. So we get x equals,
-1 plus 2.
yeah, 2y minus 1. And then the second one is 2x minus 3y equals 4. Now we can substitute. So how are we going to rewrite one of these equations?
2 parentheses 2y minus 1 parentheses minus 3y equals 0.
So notice we rearranged the first one to get x by itself. That makes it easy for us to substitute the x in the second equation because we learned that x is equal to 2y minus 1. So we rewrote this second equation, but instead of x, we wrote 2y minus 1. From this point on, this is stuff we've done before. It's just the first step is different. Sometimes we'll need to rearrange one or maybe both of the equations to get something we can use. Okay, let's finish. Let's solve this.
Alright, so
Rest of the
what
way.
you wanna do is
4y minus 2 minus 3y equals 4. You get 4y.
Yeah, now you're gonna
Minus
wanna add like terms, so it's gonna be
Oh, I meant
1 y
You get y minus
minus
2 equals 4. Add 2.
plus
Y equals 6.
Okay, y equals 6. Are we done? Are we done?
You're weird.
Are we done?
Then you gotta find x.
Yeah, so
No, alright,
how do we find x?
X
Uh,
equals
you
2y
can
minus
do it to the
3
top.
minus 1. So you're gonna fill in for y.
Yeah, so what do we write? X equals 2.
X, I mean,
12 minus
2 parentheses 6.
Right.
Minus 1. So 12 minus 1 and x equals 11.
How do we write our answer?
11
X.
comma 6.
11 comma 6.
Yes, I said.
Parentheses.
Always the x first. 11 comma 6. Yes, that's exactly how we do it. Once we,
If we write 6 in the comma 11, then
Should we take
Yes.
1 point off?
I'd probably take, I'd take at least 1, maybe 2. Because you're flipping around the variables. Okay, the order is important. It's an ordered pair. Notice these are parentheses, not curly brackets. Curly brackets, a set, order doesn't matter. Parentheses, ordered pair, the order does matter.
Okay.
All right, let's do one more.
One more.
Let's do practice.
Example 59.2.
Practice B. Practice B.
Where do you see that?
That's on page 240. So the practice questions after the lesson ends. Let's do B.
Man, Miss Oriana, I had to redo my homework like 3 times last night.
Why?
Because I went online and then I saw 57, so I started with 57. I was like, we already get 57.
Okay, no, that was my mistake.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That was mea culpa.
And then I saw the practice questions, so I started to do the practice questions as number 1. And then I messed up, so I restarted and I had to do number 1.
Mr. Oh, you know you didn't give someone with losses.
None of us got
Okay.
close.
I got
System of equations using substitution.
Are negative.
Page 240 at the bottom.
Yes.
I'm sorry?
You could put negative. You could put negative 2x. Subtract negative 2x on the bottom, on both sides.
You mean subtract 2x. Right, so we could rearrange either one of these equations.
Yeah.
But let's be smart about it. Notice, if we rearrange the bottom equation to get y by itself, we just subtract 2x from each side. Yes? The top equation, we might be tempted because it comes first to do that one. We could do it, but notice, if I subtract 4x from each side, what does it become?
Oh, they both become equal.
So
to
then-
X.
I get negative y equals 41 minus 4x. Then what do I have to do?
Have a negative, like do it.
Yeah, I gotta flip the signs. Y equals negative 41 plus 4x. So I could do that also, but that's more steps.
So you do.
If you have a question, please raise your hand and ask it clearly. Yes.
Wait, how did you like flip it?
So I just multiplied everything by negative 1. So negative y times negative 1 is positive y. 41 times negative 1 is negative 41. Negative 4x times negative 1 is positive 4x. I just flipped the signs and everything. You could do that, but it's easier and has fewer steps, fewer opportunities for us to make a mistake. If instead of rearranging the first equation, we rearrange the second. As you said, we subtract 2x from each side. We get y equals negative 2x plus 25.
Oh.
Where we add negative 2x to each side. Yes?
Yeah.
These two are equivalent equations. All right, now we can substitute. What are we going to write?
4.
Wait.
Wait, no.
Yeah, that's right.
4 parentheses.
No. Be careful. What variable are we substituting for?
Y.
Y.
Oh.
So how are we going to rewrite that first equation?
Minus y.
What?
2x. No, sorry.
No.
4 parentheses.
No.
Minus 4 minus.
Plus 25.
Guys, stop.
Yes.
So for the negative part, when you move 2x over,
Yeah.
you could put that in any way. So it could be like negative 2x or.
Or we could write 20
or minus.
Yeah, we could write 25 minus 2x. I just like to keep my variables first. Okay, listen. What variable is getting replaced by negative 2x plus 25? Y. So when I rewrite this equation, what happens to that 4x? Nothing. We're not replacing x. We're replacing y.
Wait, so then you do 4x minus and then parentheses.
Minus, right, y gets replaced with this.
Negative 2x plus 25 equals.
So 4x plus 2x minus.
No, negative.
Yes. 4x plus 2x
Oh, yeah.
minus 25, right, because this negative distributes.
Equals 41.
Equals 41. Now what do we do?
6x minus 25 equals 41.
All right. Then
Add 25.
add 25. What do we get?
66.
6x equals 66. X equals
11.
11. Then what do we do?
Find y.
Yup.
So you get
So let's find an equation that has y by itself already.
negative 2 parentheses.
Yup.
11
Mm-hmm.
plus 25.
Plus 25.
Negative 22 plus 3.
25. Y equals 3. So our answer is what?
11 comma 3.
11 comma 3. Oops. In parentheses. Yes. 11 comma 3.
Actually, kind of know.
Yeah, this is not different. The only thing that we're adding on is this first step. But please, as we saw with this problem, please be careful. When you rearrange an equation, you could get either y by itself or x by itself, whatever is easiest to do. But then make sure when you're doing your substitution, here we got y by itself. So we need to make sure that when we rewrite the other equation, that it's y that we're replacing with that, not x. For homework tonight, or for Tuesday really. So the test is on Tuesday, the homework's for Wednesday. I'm sorry, because we don't have school Monday.
Because you're my best friend.
Problem set 59. Skip the following. If you stick around, I'll give you sheets in just a second. Don't come in yet, please. I'm still teaching. Let's go back outside. I'm still teaching. Francesco,
Stay right there and just do it.
close the door.
No.
2, 4, 6,
8.
13,
2, 4, 6, 8. Everybody appreciates.
23,
They're all trash.
27, 28.
That's
Okay, but you know
Thank you
what?
very much.
I ain't.
Bye.
Aston,
I'm not even
Aston,
They're all my